Today I'm in Ashland, Pennsylvania, and this is called the Station House, and it was built in 1867. It's 2 years after the Civil War, and they built it all with stone and lime, and Paul Murphy is a volunteer here, so I came down for a couple hours to get them going on it and point the building up. So I'm going to show you how we did it. So here's what's going on. We started pointing down here. You can see it. This is what it looks on the side that it's not pointed. And this was built with lime. You see this? You've seen my tell you about lime. Leave it in there if it's good, and if it's falling apart, then you scrape it out. But this is all got to be repointed up, and it's been done. There it is, Station House, 1867. So it's all going to get pointed up, and it's been done a few times already. You can see where they just put it in, and the weather gets to it. You get on this side, and you can see where they plastered it over. This whole building was plastered at one time, and it all came off, and there's the remnants of it. So that's what we're doing. We're just pointing it up today. We're up in the attic, and you can see on the inside up in here that this is all the old lime mortar. You see it? Right here. That's all they had back there in the 1800s. And then we get down in here. Over here they have the brick chimney. It goes up. And if we patch this, it'll be about the same way. You can see how the lime kind of falls apart after a while. So, I just wanted to show you that. Okay, we're going to mix this up, and it's just a blended mason mix. But because it might be a little hard, we're just going to add a little Portland to it like that. And then we're just going to add the water to it. Mix it up. That's going to stiffen up a little bit. So we just get the wire brush and we get all the loose stuff off. We brush it all out of there. That's all. Just like that. No big deal. So here's what we want to do. All we want to do is we want to wet the joint where it's going to stick, so it sticks. Inside these big joints it's not that important. We just want to get a little damp in there, and then it sticks. Like that. And then just going to get it in the trowel, push it in, just like that. No big deal. Fill it right up. If you have to, put it in with your hand. Shove it in. Now this is an old building. It has a lot of old lime in it. And that's okay, because that's how they used it in those days. All we're going to do is get it in there, pack it in. That's it. Now I know it's in there. See that? I know it's in there. We got it in here. Just gonna let that sit and kind of dry up. Up on top, as long as it's wet, we're good. That's it, that's all we gotta do. Get it in there. Let that dry. Water, the paintbrush, That's it. Over here in the doorway, same thing. Just get everything out that's loose. Just like a dentist. If it ain't loose, don't bother it. Just like that. See that? So if we want to, we could get a sprayer and get it in there a little deeper, like that. Spray it up. That's going to make that stick. Get it in. Bigger one for there. That's it. Right here we might have to use our hand. Tuck it in. This one we use this. Over here our hand, get it in there. So we're going on, we're doing this, I'm doing that, we'll go up here, maybe I get the scaffold, we'll go up here and look at these, and we'll just keep going. I'm going to fill this crack in. All I do is I wet it up, make no big deal out of it, just wet it up, start putting it in. How's it going, Paul? Packing it in?
Packing it in. Just gotta put the gap there.
That's all. Put that in. I'm just gonna get the paintbrush. Just go over it. That's it. Smooth it all out. Like that. See? That's smooth. A little wet down here. Get the sponge. And the water, when you rinse it out, just go over the sides a little bit to get it off of the backs of that. That's all. Blends it right in there, like that. That's it. It's done. Down here a bit. Good. Okay. Over this side, I'm going to brush it off like that. That's all. It's kind of dry. Waited a little bit until it dried up a little bit. That's it. How far are you going to go with it? Just like that. You get your water and your sponge. Just go around the edges like that. That'll clean it up. Just like that. That's done. Well, just get the water and the sponge. Clean it up like that. There it is. Big deal. So far, Paul's still going in there, packing it in against the door. I got this part done underneath. Now I'm just going to go over here and do this section. And we've only been here about an hour, Paul, right?
Right.
So we got a lot done already. See this? This is that old line. The question is, how far are you going to go in there? Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Look at that. See, they shoved rocks in there. Nothing wrong with it. We want to leave that as much as we can. And then I'm going to wet it up. That's what's going to make it stick. Pack it in there. Whatever's in there is in there, like a dentist. You don't rip the whole tooth out. You just do what you gotta do. Alright, now I'm going to go up in there. See that? Fix those holes. Now we're up here above the wood. See the wood? This is probably white oak. And white oak, you can see how it goes on over here, is crossing this whole thing, and they put the stonework on top of it. That's what they did in the old days. They didn't use, there was no angle irons. If you didn't arch it, then you used the wood. So we're just gonna pack it in here because there's nothing wrong with it. We got it all brushed off, right? And then we're just gonna wet it like I told you, like this. And we're gonna pack it. And that's gonna hold all that old lime in there. That's how we're doing. That's it. Okay, we're here for a couple hours. We did the bottom, we did up in there, we did up in here, a couple spots over there. Paul's going to finish the doorway here. Paul, what was the first thing that is different that you thought?
The texture of the mud was the first real difference I learned from Mike. I would have made it much too wet, and it would have been harder to handle, more sloppy, but the texture, the dryness, it doesn't take much moisture, it seems, and it packs in real nice like Play-Doh.
Right.
So, I like
All
that
right.
too.
All right, it was nice coming down, Paul. Appreciate it.
Great to have you, Mike. Thank you for the jump start here and the advice.
Okay, good luck on the building.
Thank you.
So that building is in Ashland, Pennsylvania, and it's called the Station House. And it was because it was a firehouse, and they have an old jail in there, and then it was the Borough Hall for a while. But it was built in 1867, which was 2 years after the Civil War. So it's an old building, and they used lime in that building. Now they must have did that 2 or 3 times. Now when I do an old building like that, I don't go do the whole thing unless it's going to be, you know, someone's throwing a lot of money at it. Just fix what's broke. When the dentist goes in there, he just fixes the cavity. You don't rip the whole tooth out. You don't redo the whole mouth. You just do what you got to do. So I used S mortar there, and that was the premix, but I added a little Portland because I don't think they make it strong enough for our area. Those joints are big, and the weather gets to it. Now, if you're building a cathedral, the joints are this small. But these old stone buildings with the lime are this big, and they used to plaster the whole thing at one time, and it was a continuous job to keep those buildings up. I have a video called Lime or Portland, What Should I Use? So if you want to know my feelings on using lime or Portland, go to that video and I'll explain the whole thing. So when you're doing a building like that, or you're going to try to attempt to do something like that, the texture of it, how thick the cement is really a big deal. What you do is you go to the very back of the building or a corner where no one's going to see, and you practice with it. You practice, and then wait a week, and get a little hammer and chip it and see it, that it stayed in right. And as you go, you'll get better and better, just like anything else. So Paul Murphy got in contact with me, and I went down for a couple hours, and we had some fun down there getting that old building going. And if you want to maybe take a tour of the building or a little donation or go down and help them, I'm going to put his number in the description box. So thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. I'll see you next video.